Does the F-Type Coupe feel 80% stiffer than its roadster equivalent? Can this 542 horsepower R version really cut it against the Porsche 991? These questions can't be answered properly on a racetrack, but well, it was there. So here's what an R Coupe does on an empty circuit.
So as predicted, the R Coupe is a huge amount of fun on track and eats its tyres for breakfast.
How the R Coupe performs on the track is pretty irrelevant, if rather amusing. But maybe how it performs on the road doesn't really matter either. I mean, just look at this thing, it's stunning. You'd forgive the chassis engineers if they took one look at it and decided to knock off early. But they didn't. The suspension is stiffer and retuned to take advantage of the added rigidity. There's a second generation E-diff that's said to act faster and more consistently, and also incorporates torque vectoring via the brakes. It can switch from open to fully locked in just 200 milliseconds. Like the Roadster, the dampers are continuously variable. There's a dynamic mode for when you want full noise and ultimate response. And this car offers 186 miles an hour and 0 to 60 in 4 seconds for 85 grand. The omens are looking very good.
So we know that the F-Type Coupe is an absolute hooligan on the track, and it looks stunning. So much so, it might not matter how it actually drives on real roads, but nevertheless, we found that perfect thing, a closed road, and even rarer, a Spanish policeman who's told us we can drive up and down here until our heart's content. First impressions of the R Coupe? Well, once you get past that incredible V8 noise, all the detail work that comes from the 80% stiffer structure starts to shine through. The steering has more weight, more precision and more feel to it than the Roadsters, and the damping feels smoother. The spring rates are up just around 4% front and rear, but the dampers are reprogrammed to suit, and the car just feels better supported really, better able to hide its 1,665 kilos. Just feels lighter, more agile. The payback for that control is that the ride on this car is pretty tough. It's hard to be definitive on these smooth Spanish roads, but on the rougher sections that we've found, the car does feel pretty stiff. It's plainly not going to ride as well as an R8 or a 911 in the UK, but that stiffness sort of fits in with this car's mad personality, the noise and the front end response and the motor. So the 542 horsepower V8 is mighty, really, truly, madly mighty. It doesn't hit like a 911 turbo, not much does, but it more than matches a Carrera S, and it would blow an Aston Martin V8 Vantage into the weeds. The 8-speed box has been recalibrated too. Remember, this is a proper automatic, but it feels much punchier and more aggressive. It's not as good as the best dual clutches, but the upshift pops and the downshift crackles sound brilliant. The chassis balance, well, as you can probably tell, is pretty superb. The second generation E-diff is much more consistent before. It offers really, really good traction. And also you just feel like you know what it's going to do a bit more than you used to be able to in the V8 Roadster. Of course, with all this torque and power, you want to play the hooligan, you really can. This is a proper drift car when you want it to be. But more normally, there's not much understeer to speak of, and the way it just slips into oversteer is really, really progressive. And I think that's where this car scores over the super poised, super grippy new 911. With all that power, you can just make the chassis do what you want it to do, even at sane speeds. It's just a bit more fun. It's got more of a sense of humour, I think. In the end, I think it's fair to say that for all its qualities, the R-Type Coupe doesn't quite have that gorgeous steering feel of an Aston V8, the creamy precision of an Audi R8, or the sheer grip and control of a Porsche 991. It's a bit too stiff for that, and eventually the weight starts to tell. But it's a massively impressive machine. It's so much more desirable than the Roadster version. Most importantly, it's got a sense of humour and a sense of occasion that I think particularly the 911 has lost in 9914. It's just a mega amount of fun, and at 85 grand, it's just a real bargain too.
For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Evo channel.